Hey there! And Silly Bands for the DS! Where would I be without it? I like these. So, you don't want to lose your virginity. You've come to the right place. Collecting just about anything is a surefire way to not get laid, especially video games. I mean, tell me, would somebody who's gotten laid own a copy of Kung Fu? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Video game collecting is one of the easiest and hardest hobbies to get into. Really, all you need is a TV, a game console, and some games. But then you start running into the problems of having multiple consoles, accessories, and places to store all of it. And that's just your end of it all. There's also the buying process, which has its own set of problems, such as this, and this. You could go the all-digital route, which seems fine until you take into consideration that if you're looking for the most recent release digitally, then you're gonna find it. But if you're looking for an older title, either you're going to find it immediately or not at all. There is zero in between. Also, when going the all-digital route, you have to keep into consideration your console's memory, which is a whole nother can of worms that I don't feel like going into. But something I will go into the day I consider to be the day that my interest in video games really kicked off. It was Christmas Day 2007, the day I got my original DS with a copy of Mario Kart, Nintendogs, and The Sims 2 Pets.
Yes, it was because of The Sims 2 I now own Sonic Boom.
Well, that was the day that started my road to virginity. Around April or May of 2020 was when I started taking collecting seriously. And on May 30th, 2020, well, we all know what happened.
Now, you didn't come here to listen to me ramble about something like trying to find a copy of iToy Play. You came here to listen to the struggles of storing iToy Play. Making a video talking about my room is nothing original, not by a long shot, but it's an idea that I've wanted to do for a while. So, for archival purposes mainly, before I talk about this room, I'm going to talk about my old room
In my pre-taking care of my games virgin corner was a corner table with an old CRT TV, a few of my game consoles, one of those trampoline chair things, and a footstool with all my games and controllers. This was my room set up for a long time. You could get glimpses of it in some of my really old videos, but only one wall. I had that room layout for at least 4 or 5 years until about 2 years ago when I ditched my old setup for a far larger and cleaner one. Eventually I ran out of room on my 2 media shelves, and I did have to use a third one. During all of this, spare controllers and wires were no longer kept in the footstool, they were kept in totes, along with my footstool, in my closet. While I continued to add stuff to my collection, I was pretty good at not outgrowing the space I had available. It wasn't until right at the end before that I finally started to run out of room. But thankfully a short time later I was given a larger space to work with, and this for the last 7 months is where I've been living. The layout of my room was just meant to be as roomy as possible, and it worked great, and it still works great. Just kidding! I hated this layout! Like 4 months after moving in, I changed the whole thing! I put this recliner in my room, and that was a fantastic idea. I replaced my 40-inch plasma for a 50-inch flat screen, and 2 months after doing all that, I added a 4th media shelf!
Huh. Well then. How about a tour? Yeah, let's do that. Come here. So this is the room. That's the house. This is the room. Now, right here is my PC setup. I do have a chair. You were watching me sit in it earlier. It's not exactly the tidiest thing in the world, and I do have my script pulled up. But, yeah. I primarily use this for making videos. I don't really do the whole... I don't PC game as much as I used to, but I have been getting back into Team Fortress 2. If you like seeing content like that, I do have a second channel, and I will leave a link to it down in the description. You should definitely go check that out. Okay, shameless plug over. So yeah, this is what I use. I use this for editing the videos, writing the scripts, recording the audio. I use this Bad Mama Jamma. I just barely got this. A Blue Yeti. Pretty high-end microphone. I had to buy it used because brand new, these suckers are expensive. I was rolling a Snowball for a while. But I don't anymore because it just wasn't making the cut. But yeah, I got my script. Tails is my wallpaper. Yeah, that's a spoon, Bluetooth speaker, McDonald's Happy Meal toy Transformers. It's a mess, but I don't care. You don't hardly ever see it anyways. This right here is my TV. I'm super proud of this setup. This is primarily the reason why I do not PC game much anymore. So up here on top we got controller chargers for the 360, my Switch controller, my PS4 controller, the Wii U game tablet, and back behind the TV is the PS4 controller charger because I ran out of room up here in the front. So down here we got PS4 Pro, the Wii U, the GameCube, the Nintendo 64, the Xbox 360, the ugly Xbox 360, the Retro Trio Plus, the original Xbox, and the PS2 Slim. I'm pretty happy with all these consoles. So basically, how I get footage of all these is I have all these go into that silver switch right there, which goes into a converter on the back of that's behind the TV, and then it goes into the HDMI switch, and then the HDMI switch goes to a capture card that goes to my computer and back to the TV so that I can, you know, still play on the TV. The only one that's not hooked up to the HDMI switch right there is that, because the HDMI switch hates that for some reason. So I leave it unplugged, and then if I ever want to play it, then I have to just plug it directly into the capture card, which, I mean, I don't care. I usually have to get up to change the switch sometimes anyway, so what does it matter? This thing right here, though, I like this. This is the whole reason why I don't have more consoles plugged in, is because 3 of them are right here. This thing's super nice. It outputs to HDMI. I quite enjoy it. It was definitely a good investment. The only problem with it, though, is that the computer, the audio signals that the computer gets, are really weird. So normally, every game that gets played on this thing should sound like something like this. But to the computer, they all sound like this. This is the only console that does it. None of these do it. Just that one. And then coming over here to this freak of nature, I got a lamp. I'd like to replace this with a regular lamp. This is the light that I used on some of my really early game review videos because I did not have proper lighting like I do now. But this is it. I got my Switch OLED. Most expensive console I own right now, I think. And then I have a case for it with a bunch of games in it. This is my go-to controller basket. I have a thing for transparent blue controllers and just blue controllers in general. If they make an official controller that's blue or transparent blue, you bet your butt I will get it at some point. So yeah, that's that. And then down here is handhelds. We got like Game Boy, DS stuff. I have an almost complete handheld collection. I am missing an original Game Boy, the Advanced SP 101, Game Boy Micro, and 2DS? I think are the only ones I'm missing. And what I mean I'm missing, I do have original Game Boys, but two of them, and neither of them work. So yeah, I do have a pocket though, so I guess that's good. And actually real fast while I'm over here by the TV, TDM on tour, signed. That is probably the most expensive thing I own. I'm proud of it though. 100%. There's the McDonald's hat. So this right here is my shambles shelf. These are two of my old media shelves. I've pretty much dedicated them for the sole purpose of handheld stuff now. So Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS, and like my 4 PSP games. I don't even have a PSP, but I got just junk mainly. I got my old cameras, some Mario stuff, the cock clock. But yeah, this shelf is whatever. Not super exciting. Unlike this shelf. So this right here is the main attraction. There's a truck outside. It distracted me for a sec. So up here on top, we got my Tails shrine. Super proud of this. I think probably the most expensive thing here is either that plushie or the yo-yo. Not sure. I have some Crash Bandicoot Funko Pops. Some of the only ones I've ever voluntarily purchased. And then I got Foxy, Roxanne, Luigi, Donkey Kong, Mario, a Clone Trooper, because why not? I got this light right here, which I don't really turn on for videos because the ring light makes it go all fadey and break it, and I don't want that to happen. Right here is all of my Wii U and most of my Wii games. See, my parents are this nifty thing that I like to call. So I don't keep all of my Wii games here. Some GameCube games, Sega Genesis, PS1, PS4, Nintendo 64. This shelf right here is all of my NES and most of my Super Nintendo games. The reason I say most is 3 of them are right there in the box. They don't fit down with the rest of them, so I leave them there, with everything else that is in a cardboard box, except Switch Sports and Sonic Colors Ultimate. But yeah, no, there's nothing crazy. That lunchbox is full of DS accessories. That cardboard box is full of AA batteries. Those right there are Walmart magazines. These are like free issues that they give out. I just grab whatever ones interest me. There's also Sonic comic books down there, IDW ones. But these magazines, I will make videos on those at some point. I want to get some Nintendo Power to go with them. But they do come with advertisements sometimes. And if you're really lucky, then sometimes they come with posters. There's only been 2 with posters so far. Zelda, Skyward Sword HD, and Splatoon 3. I've never even played these 2 games, and I still got them because they're free posters. But something I have seen before. This is a little picture frame signed by him. I think that's... The Dan TDM hat is cool, but I think that this is slightly cooler because it's a bit of Mario history. This is not the only little bit I own. In fact, earlier you probably noticed this. I said that the Dan TDM hat might be the most expensive thing I own, but I actually think it might be this. This is a cell from the Super Mario World cartoon. It's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I'm super proud to own that. And then there is the closet. I unfortunately will not be showing you in there right now, as there are stuff in there that you guys are not going to be able to see until future dates. But just stuff for future videos that I can't show yet. So,
In my game room's current state, I'm quite happy with it. It's not perfect, and there's a lot I would change if I had the space, but right now, I'm fine with it. But what would my ideal game room look like? What's my perfect game room? Well, for starters, I probably wouldn't sleep in it. I think my ideal game room would be in a finished basement, most likely. I'd have 2 side rooms, one for storing items like extra cables, controllers, and video equipment. The other would be a padded room for recording audio for videos. I would also like a glass cabinet for storing and displaying consoles I'm not using. Obviously tons of shelf space for games and collectibles. For my PC setup, I would like a corner desk with 2 PCs. One being my main, where I do basically everything, and the other being an older computer for playing old PC games. Close by, so I could still get footage if needed, is a far larger TV and some speakers to boost sounds. There would also be a couch, obviously, most likely a large sectional with a coffee table, and maybe a little chest for storing blankets and pillows. I think also having some arcade cabinets would be cool. I would most likely settle for some 1UP arcade cabinets. The ones I think I would want would be Big Buck World, Atari Star Wars, The Simpsons, the Sit-Down Outrun cabinet, and if 1UP ever makes one, a Mario Bros cabinet. And if they don't make one, I guess I can settle for a real one. The reason I would rather take 1UP arcade cabinets instead of real ones is because real ones can be a pain to maintain and keep running compared to 1UP arcade cabinets. And I know this last thing I want for my room will sound pretty cliche and dumb, but I think some RGB lights lining the room would be neat. And there you go, my ideal perfect game room, roughly.
Well, that's my game room. It's crazy to see how far it's come in such a short amount of time. The stories and memories behind almost every single one of these games are super meaningful to me, and I would imagine at least interesting to some. Seeing the consoles I've collected, the games I've played, the sex I haven't had, it's all incredible, and I don't think I would trade the world for it. Also because I just don't think I could live without silly bands.